Okay, so I just ordered and received this GForce Z33 to LS adapter kit. Before ordering, I was trying to find some reviews or some information online, maybe some videos, to kind of see what you actually get with the kit and the quality and everything. I couldn't find anything, so I figured I would take a chance and order it and kind of see what I got. So I'm pretty happy with it, so I'm going to go ahead and make a video kind of going through everything, just to kind of put it out there for somebody else. So the basic Z33 to LS kit, times have changed. It used to be you had to take your transmission and cut the bell housing off and mount an adapter plate to it and then buy a T56 bell housing and yada yada yada. Now we've evolved into plates. Pretty much all the major manufacturers are using these adapter plates now. So the GForce one was the cheapest one that I found. It was $1,000 for the bare bones basic kit. Didn't come with a clutch, didn't come with anything else, didn't come with a starter. But the plate, flywheel, starter adapter, throw out bushing adapter, and the hardware was like $980 out the door, I think. So I'm going to start with the hardware. The hardware, it includes both the hardware for the mounting plate to the engine, the mounting plate to the transmission, and it also includes these little hex cap screws for mounting the starter adapter to the adapter plate. Now the transmission bolt holes are threaded, and it has the alignment pins for the transmission. So if you have the pins in your transmission already, you'll have to pull them out. And the holes to the block are straight through holes. Let me move on to the throw-out bearing adapter, or sorry, throw-out pilot bearing, pilot bushing, one of those. It's a nice machine steel with a brass insert in it. The nice thing about this one is that it actually has two threaded holes in it, so that you can actually thread a bolt into it and kind of wiggle it out instead of having to pack, grease or bread in the center to push it out if you ever need to. It's a nice little piece, pretty hefty. Looks to be pretty nicely finished. Then we move on to the starter adapter. This is a CNC machine billet piece of aluminum. It uses a Hitachi style small block Chevy mini starter. They're pretty common. They're used pretty much in any sort of racing application. You can get them in all different kinds of strengths. The strength is kind of odd. I found that it's dictated by the compression ratio of the engine. So obviously the higher the compression ratio that it's rated to, the more torque that it has. So I would recommend getting the highest compression ratio rating that you can get. That way you have the strongest starter. It will cost you a little bit more money, but in the long run I think you would be happier. This is a nicely machined piece. No real sharp edges or anything. Has a couple threaded holes in it and whatnot for mounting onto the plate and mounting the actual starter itself. And it fits into this little boss here. Not exactly sure how it bolts up because I haven't installed it yet, but it fits nicely. No real wiggle. Nice and clean. Okay, now here's the adapter plate, and I've seen in a lot of companies, I'm not going to name them, but they advertise that they've had competitors' kits show up bent and so on and so forth. So what I have here is a Starrett straight edge, certified straight. And I'm going to measure across a couple points. I haven't done this yet, so I don't know what it's going to look like. But I'm going to measure across a couple points. I'm going to see if it's flat. Okay. So after looking through it, I'm not doing anything real precise, but it does look like the center portion here is raised just a hair. I'm not too concerned about it. I would say it's probably maybe a tenth or two off across the plane. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think when you tighten everything down, it'll flatten itself out, no problem. So I'm pretty happy with it. It looks like it's powder coated. It's pretty hefty. It is. It's about 3/8 of an inch thick steel. Pretty nice piece. Pretty sturdy. It's not floppy. I think, quite frankly, I think this is probably the same adapter plate you get from anybody. I'm sure their process, GForce Performance's process, is no different than any of the other companies that offer it. So I have a feeling that the amount of flatness is the same. You know, you would see similar results from any other company you went to. Now, if you're wondering where the majority of your $1,000 went to, this right here. This is the flywheel that you get. Now, I'm showing it friction side up. As you can see, there is not a replaceable friction surface on this. You would have to have it taken to a machine shop and turned down a little bit if you ever messed up the surface. Another important thing to note is that it looks to only be threaded for an OE style clutch, so you wouldn't be able to use like a twin disc button style clutch or anything like that. But the friction surface, this is a heavy flywheel. This is not a lightweight flywheel by any means. The friction surface is probably maybe 3/4 of an inch thick. So you've got plenty of meat there if you want to tap it and rethread it for a smaller pressure plate pattern. Now, I'm going to try and measure the flatness across the friction surface to see what we get. This should be pretty flat because this is CNC machines. This isn't plate steel. So we'll see what we end up with. Yeah. Once again, nothing super precise, just eyeballing it. I'd say maybe a couple thou across the whole thing. Perfectly acceptable, perfectly usable, you know, especially when you get the clutch disc wearing on it, it'll all even itself out. So I'm not super worried about that. Now, if it matters to you, where's that? Ugh. It is made in the USA and it is SFI Spec 1.1 rated. This is billet steel, obviously, with a ring gear welded on. Pretty nicely made. I personally wouldn't have any concerns using it, especially since it's SFI rated. I do wish it was a little lighter. This is a heavy piece. I would put it, I don't know, probably close to 30, 40 pounds. It's pretty heavy. I'm going to measure the flatness across the mounting boss, see what we end up with. Once again, same deal, a couple thousands across the board, more than acceptable. I think it's, you know, I have no reservations using it. And given that this is the cheapest kit that I've found, you know, I think it's money well spent. Time will tell, obviously. I actually just ordered a clutch kit, so I'll be able to do a review of the install, or at least an overview of the install if I remember, and kind of give an update as far as that goes. And then as far as it running, I don't know if you can see my car in the background. We're still a little ways off. So that might have to wait a bit. But just from what I can see opening the box, I'm pretty happy with it. Now, I did get an optional extra. This added, I think, $30, were these pressure plate bolts. I'm not sure how necessary they're going to be. They aren't ARP, but they are grade 12. Nice little hex cap screws. There's 12 points, so you might have to buy a special socket if you decide to go this route. I don't know if the clutch kit I ordered includes flex pressure plate bolts, but we'll see. So this is going to be kind of a mild build, just not so much focusing on like maximum power, kind of going for a corner carver time attack. So I've chose a pretty aggressive clutch, and we'll see how that works with the CD009. But all in all, I think the adapter kit is definitely a good buy. Like I said, it's the cheapest one out there. And everything I see, I would expect to see in any of the kits that you order. I don't think this is any better or worse than any of the kits that you would spend more money on. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Nobody had made a video like this for any of the GForce products, but I see it with other brands all the time. So I kind of took a chance, and yeah, if there's anybody else out there who's thinking about purchasing this kit, basically just wanted to make this video so that they would have information that I didn't have. So that's all for now.